Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 687 for the 11th of January. As per the last SITREP, which very few people watch, I starting with Frontline Changes. So let's start off with the first Frontline Changes. Is over at Performance on the Avdiivka Front. Let me show you. So this is Avdiivka city. At the Avdiivka Front, this at the Performance region, there is a geolocation by Kreminna of Ukrainian forces. Not Ukrainian forces, but there is an explosion caused by the engineering assault groups of the Russian forces. Explosion happened at this location, which means that the Ukrainians might be here, which means that the Ukrainians may have actually recaptured certain parts of these positions. So leading to a change in terms of the front line. So the front line currently looks something like this, probably. But there was a previous geolocation of Russian forces over at this area here. So yeah, don't take this too hard. Another geolocation is actually over at this Zaporizhzhia Front at the at Zaporizhzhia Front, this Zaporizhzhia city, at Zaporizhzhia Front at the Kharkiv sector. We previously I have reported that Ukrainian forces have conducted counterattacks, and they are heading towards the northern part of Novoprokopivka, and I mentioned that we may need certain kind of geolocation to verify the claims by Ryba that the Ukrainian forces managed to occupy several strongholds. So these are the geolocations. We have a few. We have one over here by military summary. Another one is also by military summary. Particularly this one actually changed the front line. With the Ukrainian forces managed to capture this tree line, and probably part of this. So because to be here and a drone strike is sent to it, that means that at least this entire area here is now under Ukrainian control, or at least there's no Russian forces over there. So Ukrainian forces have actually succeeded in taking positions over in this area here, increasing their zone of control, leading to an attack in this area here, which would be classified as an attack in the northern part of Novoprokopivka, which corroborates a previous report by Ryba. So yeah, this is all for the the superficial viewers. Thank you. Goodbye. You can switch off now. Okay, now we to the serious people. The professionals, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Why are you still here? The superficial one, you can go now. Bye bye. Okay, the ladies and gentlemen. So the serious issue over for DPA is that the viewership is horrible. So it's not your fault. You guys are watching. But it is quite bad. This is only not even 10K, the last one. So I think it's something to do with my thumbnail and also the way I named the title. So I going to start titling the videos based on SEO standards, search engine optimization. That means it's not going to be titled as per what actually happened. I may try to put as per the thumbnail as much as I can, but for SEO purpose, I see whether we can improve the viewership. If not, it's not sustainable at 10K. Just to be honest, I think the minimal I need is at least 20K. So that's the bare minimum to keep us going. And thankfully, I still have Patreons and people supporting a coffee and Boosty, as well as YouTube membership. But generally speaking, that number is also dropping because maybe some quit without because there's no exclusive content and whatnot. So but this is getting starting a bit critical already. So just to let you guys know. And yeah, so the frontline changes is actually very minimal. So we go back to the normal programming now. It's very minimal. Those are not very, very significant things. Both are Ukrainian advances, but it's not really advanced. I think the Kharkiv one is advanced. Retaking over of the stronghold. This particular stronghold, which is I can actually put it under Ukrainian control in this way. So now it's Ukrainian control again, but generally it doesn't really change much in the very grand strategic situation. So we go down from the Kharkiv Front. Let's start off with the Kharkiv Front. There is Russians continuing to harass across the border. I'm gonna slow down myself. I talk too fast. Russia continues to harass the Ukrainian forces across the border. They use artillery system to hit the Ukrainian forces over at Veterinami, over this location just across the border only. It's a very small village or town. Looks like some kind of industrial area kind of thing. So, and then there's another geolocation by military summary as well. This is a airstrike on the Ukrainian positions over at Bili Koladias. So another strike around here. This area looks like a good spot for Ukrainian forces to gather armored vehicles and whatnot, and is a good distance away to Voschansk and then to Volokivka. So there's a road leading up there, which means that they can actually reinforce the border if the Russians actually attack in whichever directions, or even from here they can still progress upwards, through the roads up. So this is actually pretty strategically sensible for the Ukrainians to actually have a base over there. So getting hit there, that shows that the Ukrainians are prepared, but the Russians are harassing. Not sure if it will lead to some kind of a massive Kharkiv offensive in the near future. We move into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, situation continued to be only at the Sinkivka region, with the Ukrainian forces continue to be on the offensive, while the Russians are reportedly also attacking. No frontline changes. Anyway, frontline changes are already covered, so there's no more frontline changes. So this is the fighting around at the Sinkivka region. The rest of the Kupyansk Front is quiet. Svatova Front, we have incident of Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported Russian attack in the Makiivka region, and that's all we know of the Svatova Front. We move on further south. So there's Makiivka. This is Kreminna, and at the Kreminna Front, the Russian forces continue their Kreminna offensive, with fighting reported east of Terny, from Dibrova toward Toske, Dibrova towards Yampil, and Serbiansky Forestry. This Dibrova report is a bit unique because this reports this very specific information about Russian forces at Dibrova fighting in the direction of Toske and fighting in the direction of Yampil comes from Sirsky himself. Sirsky is the commander of the Ukrainian ground forces, and he mentions that the Russian forces. So nowadays, he actually do something like a few days once or once a week kind of a summary of what's currently happening in Ukraine, which I think is nice. So he talks about the Russians continue to be focusing on the attack around the Serbiansky Forestry region, particularly over at the Dibrova towards Toske and towards Yampil direction. So which means that the Russians' attack in the Dibrova region is definitely happening. The Ukrainians have verified it. So otherwise, that's all from the Kreminna Front. At the Svatova Front, the Vasily report, there's no more fighting reported over at Vasily as per yesterday's. We do have a geolocation of Russian forces getting hit by FPV drone of the Ukrainians at this location. But this location, I think we have geolocated before, which is why we already have this in Russian territory, and the attack comes within the sphere of the control of the Russians. So no frontline changes in terms of this one. And we move into the Bakhmut Front. This is Bakhmut city. At the northern flank of the Bakhmut Front, the Russians are continuing their offensive in this northern flank of the Bakhmut Front, with fighting reported in the Bodanivka region. Most likely is still in the southern part. Most likely in this region here, in the cemetery region. Yesterday I made such a good joke, bad joke about the cemetery, but nobody watches. Yeah, I mean 9 to 10k is still not few people. It's still a lot of people. If 10,000 people stand in front of me, that will be quite frightening. But it is still not sustainable. I do not know how else I could put it. So and I'm not sure if it's something to do with me not showing my face. I was very sick over the past weeks. I'm still not fully recovered. I'm probably 90%, 95%. You can hear from my voice, the more I talk, it's gonna get worse. But yeah, somehow the viewership is just uncontrollable. I admire military summary and whip unions. ability to continue to get 100,000 views, whereas I'm struggle like like our dear friends over at who's that Ukrainian I can't even remember his name. War in Ukraine. Yeah, War in Ukraine. Long time no hear him. I think he's still reporting. So yeah, he's also struggling quite bad for a very long time. So looks like I'm gonna join his rank. If without you guys supporting me, yeah, DPA is gonna get very irrelevant. Despite how the information accuracy doesn't seem to matters much anymore. Drama matters more. So anyway, so fighting continues in the Klishchiivka region. Sirsky mentioned that the attacks comes from the east along the lake region, as well as fighting at Avdiivka and Kupyansk. So in that sense, definitely the fighting is not within Klishchiivka itself. Based on yesterday's report, we can also tell that the fighting is not really at this directly at Klishchiivka, but it's more towards like maybe the northern part of Klishchiivka, not directly into Klishchiivka, because Klishchiivka itself is inside the valley. It's not very meaningful to attack into Klishchiivka itself. So yeah, so this is what it is. We move on away from the Bakhmut Front. That's all from the Bakhmut Front. Nothing at the New York Front. In the Avdiivka Front. At the Avdiivka Front, the usual we have fighting near Novobakhmutivka in the Stepovy region, northern part of Avdiivka, Pervomaisky and Nevelsky. And in particular at Pervomaisky, we have the geolocation as I mentioned previously. So the Ukrainians did manage to go back into the gray zone and entrench themselves and then get exploded. So because this area, despite is said to be under Russian control, or previously over here, it is actually pretty much gray zones. So yeah, that is what it is. We move on at the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, some interesting things happening. Over at the Georgievka Marinka region, the Russian forces attacking in 3 different directions. They are attacking in the north, considered northeastern outskirts of Georgievka, and towards Georgievka itself, and hitting out of Marinka. So the Russian forces trying to improve their zone of control around Marinka. So this will continue to monitor and see how this goes. Further south, at the Novomihailivka region, Ukrainian forces, Deep State UA reported about the south of Novomihailivka is a gray zone. The Ukrainian forces created a sanitary gray zone from the Russian world, whatever that is supposed to mean, which means that the Ukrainians can actually counterattack somehow and manage to create some certain level of buffer zone. So, but it's too vague. So I'm not going to take it seriously. We will continue to wait. Otherwise, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry say that the Russians attacked 10 times. So the Russians probably continue to attack in the region here, whereas the Ukrainians did try to make a pushback. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by the FPV drone within the Novomihailivka just shows that the Russians are still nearby. So because FPV drones don't fly super far, so which means that the Russians must be nearby, because it's not the drone cannot fly far, it's the signal cannot reach so far. So we move on away from Novomihailivka. There is a geolocation, interesting one. This is near Solotke, which is actually not exactly very near. At this location, getting hit by the airstrike, so which might be a precursor to a Russian push in this direction. Like a crab sideway, like I mentioned in the previous SITREP. So towards the north of Volodymyrivka, and if they are successful in pushing further, they'll be able to secure this northern part of Volodymyrivka. Then that will actually bring true security to Volodymyrivka from ground offensive. So an interesting report coming from the Voleda region is that the Polivka is under attack, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. They say that the Ukrainians attack Polivka, and they are repelled by a series of different tools the Russians use. So that's interesting. This is very, very unusual because there is no Ukrainian attack on Avdiivka since months, probably half a year already. So this is actually very, very, very unusual. So we move on. There's nothing over at the Velika Novosibirsk sector. The fighting at the Prione region is now done and dusted. I think there's no more fighting in the Prione region. At the first place, it is already very weird. So the Ukrainians probably did try to do some offensive actions in this area here. But it didn't really do much or go well. So let's see. We move on. Nothing at Huyapole at the Kharkiv sector. Just now I already mentioned the Ukrainian forces managed to capture the south of Robotyne. This corroborates the reports coming from Ryba previously, and but by this moment the initiative go back to the Russians. So the Russians are now on the offensive again, fighting reported towards Robotyne in the west of Verbove and at Verbove itself. Information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Russian Defense Ministry. So yeah, most of the reports nowadays are from the official sources because their reports are a lot more better than 1 year ago. So that's all from the Kharkiv sector. Another geolocation over near in the Kupyansk sector, there is a Russian rocket artillery attack on Ukrainian positions north of Mali Shabaki. So yeah, this looks like a train line. I'm not sure. So yeah, that is probably some kind of a forward position, gathering places for the Ukrainian forces so that got hit. And that's it from the Zaporizhzhia Front. And we move into the final front line, which is the Southern Front at the Kherson Front. So this is the Kherson Front. At the Kherson Front, the Ukrainians continue to be at cranky, the usual. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry then claimed the Russians continue to attack, which they didn't. Instead, this time around it's Deep State UA mentioning it. So, but no, same situation, no change. But what is changed is we have some other geolocations, which is very interesting. So first, the FPV drone hitting Ukrainian boats moving towards Krinky, and then we have airstrikes on the Lvove, and then we have Lancet hitting the self-propelled artillery at Lvove, near Lvove as well, and then Kreminna Caprice geolocated the Lancet hitting another artillery system, northwest of Tiahinka. And then further, there's another geolocation of airstrike on Ukrainian positions near Donetsk, which is actually nearer to Pridniprovsk. So if you look at this, Ukrainian forces is in this position, over in the southern bank. The Russian airstrike is back, Lancet is back, hit here. So two of them Lancet, two of them airstrikes. This is horrible. So anyway, this is the situation in the Kherson Front, and yeah, this is the summary for the day of 687 for the 11th of January. Let me know if it's better if I speak slower, because yeah, sometimes I realize that I get very anxious and very high anxiety. I talk very fast. Then I realized when I finished recording, I was like, why do I talk so fast? Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next update.